people can actually hear us talk, right?
That was loud.
It was very loud. Steve created a macro to turn it down, but it takes too long, so we're just going to turn it down and go at it here. Let it play out.
Steve, that guy is like, I mean, my
Slacking.
goodness, that guy is slacking. He's
Yeah.
he's half good. Half good. How are you, my friend?
I am great. And how are you and the Simpsons doing today?
I don't know. I just saw the background and said, let me just
You went
grab it
with
and
it.
go. Yep, I'm in the. I'll do my best Homer impression, which sucks. You know, I don't have a Homer impression.
Yeah. I'm coming and you're going today.
Can you guess where I'm going today? As soon as we're done
Yeah.
recording, matter of fact, I'm texting my daughter right here who's upstairs saying, get your ass ready, be ready to leave when
And
we are done here.
quickly.
Because like we've got a tailgate to go to. The game is at 2:30. It's 11:45 now, so we're going to record fast, and then we're going to grab an Uber and drop us off somewhere near the stadium, and we'll figure out how to get home later.
Yep. So let's get into it. First thing, you're driving.
I'm driving and not
You're
drinking.
driving.
Or I think I'm driving and not drinking right now, but you are.
I'm drinking because I just got home. I took the dog and the wife. We went for a nice long hike at one of the parks nearby this morning for like several miles. So we just got back from that. So I'm having a beer, enjoying that.
Do you
So
realize? First off, two things on that. First off, you realize you listed your dog in front of your wife.
Yes, 100%, absolutely. Yes, I love my dog.
And
my
two,
dog is my life.
I like the rationale. I hiked, so now I can drink. I love the rationale. I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we also love this time of year because the weather's cool.
Yeah.
The leaves are starting to change here. So there's tons of like state parks and they're called private parks, but they're like privately owned like organizations that do them. And so we try to go like every weekend, go someplace, and
That's great.
we take my dog is really good. You let him off the leash, and he just stays with us, but just runs and runs and runs and
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean the weather here is turning. It's cooler in the morning. I snuck out on Friday, second half of the day on Friday, and played 18. And I think the high was an 83. We had a nice little cool breeze coming out of the north, and just had a really fun time with some great guy. It turns out, I went out as a single, just saw an open tee time and grabbed it and went out. And it turns out that the one of the guys that I was paired up with, he is the husband of the college counselor of my daughter at her school. So it's like small world. He had a hat from my daughter's school, small world. So, we had a beer while we were playing and talked and chatted. It was fun. Had a good time.
Yeah. So I'm just drinking a Trogs, which is, I don't know if people know Trogs, but that's beer, right? Fairly big brewery, but right down the road from me. But I am having a Lollihop. I think it's a great name.
It is a great name.
Lollihop Double IPA.
Nice.
So tastes great after a hike in the woods.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Tastes great.
Golf story. So I am the league championship, and we had our first round of the league championship last week. My partner and I are a little behind.
Okay.
So we play another 9 holes tomorrow. He is like 2 holes behind on match play. I'm 1 hole behind on match play, but we both play better on the back 9. So hopefully we can turn things around tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will say I had an extremely hot, like late July, August golf
stretch where you were shooting low 80s.
Yeah, I have cooled off. I have definitely cooled off. I'm back to like very little inconsistent.
Perfect time going into Kiowa cooling off.
Yeah, right. Jeez, gosh. So yeah, I've cooled off. So I'm not happy about that. And I think this relates to what you're going to talk about, which is I did sign up and I'm starting Shanky lessons next week again.
Are you going to take one right before we go to Kiowa? So is it the day before we leave you're going to have a lesson, or is it going to be?
No, it'll be Thursday next week. But I wanted to get one in the books just because
Thursday this week.
I'm sorry, yes, Thursday this week.
Thursday this week, yeah.
Thursday. I can't remember if it's morning or night, but I really want to get. Well, I signed up for a pretty big package, and for me to space them out from now until spring, I pretty much have to do every 3 weeks. So I'll sync back up with him. He'll show like where we're at. I'm probably not going to change anything too much before Kiowa, but
Yeah,
get things started with him.
and it does, because it was funny. I did a lot of work with him in the off season. It was a lot of hard work. It was so funny. I used him as an example to one of my employees around confidence and building off a foundation and stuff, where like his foundational change for me last year took forever for me to be able to do.
Right.
Get my weight on the left side. It was a really, really, really hard foundational change for me. I started in September and I wasn't doing it regularly, like part of
And
my normal swing.
you got frustrated for a little bit.
I did. I got very frustrated, and I didn't understand where we were going with it. I didn't understand the purpose of it. There's a lot of reasons, but I finally just gave in and let's just go and see. And it probably took me from September when I started working with him until February to really kind of get that transition moved down, which is, I guess, really hard to change the foundation of a 20-year-old golf swing.
Right.
Not 20-year kid, 20-year-old. I've been doing it for a long time. But then the changes that we've made in the same time, because I stopped taking lessons with him in the late May timeframe. So from like March until May, we probably made 7 more changes that I could do from March to May than the one change I did from September until then. Well, once the foundational change was made, the rest of it became much easier. I decided to do no lessons during the summer heat of the playing. I didn't want to tweak on anything. And then now, since we're kind of going into the end of the season, I started back up again at the end of August, and I'm now like a month into regular lessons with him again. So I had a lesson with him on Thursday, and the first comment out of his mouth was, "Guess who got a package of lessons?"
Oh, really?
And I was like, yeah, I was like, Masta? He was like, Ty got a whole package of lessons. And I was like, oh, good to see. So I knew before you told me that you were back in and working on some things with him. So I like what I'm doing with him. I kept my initial in my Unicore. I kept my session from the very first lesson with him a year ago. And we were doing at the end of the lesson comparing.
Yeah.
Because
that's cool to see.
Software,
Yeah. That's one of the best things about Unicore, be able to upload those swings and look at them years later.
It was so cool to look side by side with a year ago versus now, and the changes we've made. Now, I mean, there's still a lot of work to go do, but I have lost distance because I'm not swinging as hard, and he promises me all the distance will come back the more I do it. But my positions are way better than they ever have been. I've almost gotten rid of my flip at the bottom of the swing, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited that you got your package, and it'll be a fun off season as we both work on our stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Let's go.
Here we go. So let's
lots of courses.
Oh my gosh. So I think let's get some new course music here. We were talking before the show, and actually as we're reviewing, and I think this has been holistically, there are 15 new courses this week. I think the quality of those are probably overall, if you average all those out, the best 15 courses we've ever had
100%.
Since starting the show.
100%. I don't know if it's, and it wasn't 15 from all veteran designers. It was a mix of all types of designers, and I think these were some of the best week of releases we've had all year.
Yes. And also just like a wide variety of, like, when we look at courses, I say 3 main categories, right? One is the course itself. Is the course fun to play? Is it,
a layout?
The layout. Yeah. The design of the course, which has little to do with the designer, but it is a factor, right? The second thing is how well the designer did the course, like the colors, the trees, the technical aspect of it, the blends, right? And then the last thing is really the creativity and is it memorable? Like 3 weeks from now, am I going to remember? Oh, I remember that course. So so you can have like a great layout of a course, which makes up for the other things, and you can have a lot of creativity. This week we had all 3 of those things. Some courses really strong in some areas and weak in others, but like they made up for it. So,
and some, by the way, and I don't know where I put this. It's in one of the 3 categories, so it's not a 4th category. But I do look at, like, I know you do as well, like custom assets, custom blender work. But it doesn't have to always be I created a brand new clubhouse. There's some really cool. It's just different. It's just uniqueness. Like there could be some assets that were used that somebody bought on a Unity store, and they work really well for the layout and the course that they're doing, or something like that. So, I think that helps make courses look unique.
Yep. So yeah, let's get into the new courses then. So we're going to do this by designer order. So first one up is Amache out of Mace. So he did a 27-hole course out in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm waiting for Run Pud Run to blow a gasket because, get off my lawn. Stone Creek Golf Course. So we've got 3 different combinations. We've got Blackstone, Sandstone, and Greystone. So 3 by Amache.
Yep.
Then we have the Pebbles at Stevens Point. And again, this is another one by Carl's Place. And we're not quite sure who's doing this, if Carl's Place has an employee that's spitting these out, if it's a pen name for another designer. And actually, did you notice if you go to Carl's Place, you can actually sign up for a course build through their website?
Yep, I did. I checked that out. I noticed that.
So I don't know how that's working out, but you can do that. So this is in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Then we have Swiss Alpine Valley in Davos. Grab a butt in Switzerland. Is that what that is?
It is grab a butt. It's exactly what it is. It's grab a butt, Switzerland.
Grab Booten? Grab booty? Grab Booten?
It is, man, it is my favorite vacation spot is to go skiing in Davos, grab a butt, Switzerland. I mean, that is right where I love to go.
Yes. Okay. We're just going to go with that.
Next course.
Next course. Mos Desertly.
Mos Desertly.
On that, I don't know, heard of this place. Tatooine?
Tatooine? I don't
yes.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
By Guy Holman. We've got Dinosaur Mountain Golf Club by Pakman. Now, you would think that would be fictitious as well, given the last 2, but it is not. It's actually a real course out in Arizona in Gold Canyon.
It's so weird hitting in the mouth of the T-Rex. I love it, but it's really
right?
weird. I mean, it goes in his mouth and it comes up. Never mind.
Yes. Sounds like a great name for a miniature golf course.
It does sound like a great name for a miniature golf course. I agree.
And then we got 2 more by Pakman. First of all, we have Thames Valley Golf Club Classic in London, Canada. And then we got Thames Valley Golf Club Hickory in London, Canada. Now, all 3 of those courses, they're not new. They've been on his Patreon for a while, so he's just kind of releasing them to the public.
Yep.
And then he'll probably backfill those with a couple new builds.
I like that he does that. I like that he takes them. I like when the designers take. I mean, I would encourage everybody to obviously sign up for all the Patreons they can, but I also like it when the Patreon designers take courses that have been there for a while and put them into GS Pro. I think it's a great ad.
Yes, good stuff. Sanctuary Lake in Troy, Michigan by our good buddy and my coworker, Art Dyer.
Yep.
And I have a hard time, I don't know why, but Cordillera?
I think it's Cordia. I think the L's are silent, like
more like Mexican Cordilla.
More like
Cordillera.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe I think I could be wrong on that, but I've never heard of it personally. But I do know how to pronounce the town name.
Oh, how's that go?
Well, you go first. What do you think it is?
Well, I'm like I would say like Born or Born.
It is Bernie, like Weekend at Bernie. It is Bernie, Texas. It's spelled funny, but
Bernie Madoff.
Northwest of San Antonio.
All right, cool. And we have Amherst Country Club in New Hampshire by Squirrel Tail, one of those.
Square Tail.
And we got Big Met Golf Course in Cleveland, Ohio by TSquared.
Yep.
We've got Old McDonald Had a Farm Golf Course in Bandon, Oregon. Yeah. And Sheep Ranch, another one out there in Bandon, Oregon.
Yeah, those are coveted courses that have the Bandon, part of the Bandon enclave of courses.
Little destination golf there, right?
Yes, maybe that's where assuming that I'm continue to go, like that your crew doesn't kick me out of the 16 at the end of this trip. Maybe that's a next year trip.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, certainly possible. All right.
Yep.
So we are now up to the MPOWs.
And we got a bunch. We have more MPOWs this episode than we've had in a long time.
Yes, and we probably could have given more.
Yeah, I tell you, I feel like how do I say this? Like, I don't really rate a course against another and say, well, this
Mm-mm.
course is better than this course. I look at the course on its own merits.
I try to
I
like
try
any given
to.
week keep them even so that if anything that deserves an MPOW should be in there, right?
Right, but there's also a bit of a crapshoot if you release a course and it happens to be a week where there's a lot of really good courses. It may not rise
It's
to the
very difficult to keep like a mindset of wow, that's a really good course. Then something else comes up which is still good, but like
and it's
in my
like,
head I can't compare them, you know? Yeah.
yeah. So I try not to, but at the same time, so we had a couple of on the fence courses that I don't know, maybe a different week might have been an MPOW, but because this week there were so many really good courses, I don't know, but
Right.
there was a lot of good courses this week. So let's go.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Okay. So no camera, Steve. Swiss Alpine Valley. So congratulations. We're going to give Swiss Alpine Valley an MPOW here.
Any place named Grab a Butt, you get an MPOW, just by default.
So originality, 10 out of 10, right?
Yep.
He built this from scratch. This isn't LiDAR based, so he had to do hats off because I did one of the course, Glacier Golf.
Yep.
I didn't need to sculpt that entire course. I would say a quarter of it I did, and I never want to do it again. So,
Yes.
too far here.
Yep.
So this is essentially now he says it's in Davos, so he might have taken LiDAR. I think he took LiDAR from that area, but then just sculpted it into the course.
Sculpted a terrain out. Yeah, I think this is a fantasy course.
Yes, there's no golf course here.
There's no golf course here, correct? He took the LiDAR from the area and then sculpted the course out of the mountain area.
Yeah, the description is pretty entertaining. He talked about complete
Yeah.
secrecy, the new to have cost in the order of $680 million. Right. The Sherpa out there, I can definitely see all this. Now, I can definitely tell that he sculpted a lot of this. Well, let's get into the course here.
Wait, go back. I just noticed
go.
something. Go back real quick. Look at the course difficulty. I didn't notice that till just now. It's a 43.4 out of 10.
How did that happen? He must have. And what if he probably changed that manually? He probably changed.
I don't think you can. It's based on the slope ratings. He left them all at 110, 155.
No, but what Greenkeeper does is it calculates it, but you can go into that text file and change it. I bet.
You can edit the text file. Sure.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm guessing, look, he left everything at 110, 155 for every single tee. So it made it.
Oh, good point. Good point. Right.
Yeah. So like it's a 43 out of 10. So.
So from now on, we're gonna have to compare everything. Is it harder than Swiss Alpine Valley?
Is it hard? Right? It's the hardest course ever on GS Pro by a factor of 4.
Yes, by 10 factor.
By a factor of 10, correct?
Yes, because most courses are like 4, right?
That's a good point. Correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so really kind of like I'm a little jealous because when you create a fantasy course like this, you could pretty much do whatever you want. So what did he do? He put cows on the driving
and they move and they walk and
yes,
their heads eat
if
the
you
grass,
hit them,
like
yes. And
they fall over if you hit them.
My only disappointment is here that he didn't put like cow spots on his golf bags because they're white.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a great ad, a texture of them like cow spots. Yes.
Yeah. And what he did here is at least he put a little elevation on the driving range because the entire course is like sanctuary like holes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the first hole. Now, if I do have a gripe here, I can definitely tell that he had to do a lot of terrain shaping. And you can tell this right on the first hole that none of the tee boxes are flat.
Correct. Yes.
They're a little
You'll
rough.
see on some other screenshots too.
Yeah, you'll see it like so. Now I don't think that matters because I think the course, I believe GS Pro, if I'm correct, they override. So if you're on a tee box, they don't care what its slope. It'll be 0, 0. Doesn't matter. So it's just cosmetic. Okay.
Correct.
So here, tee shot, and this is like I took off the HUD here, but very far downhill. You're cracking one out in the middle of the fairway, and the fairways you also have to be very careful. And this is where the course is really hard because they're very sloped. It's really hard to hold the fairways, and
it is, and all of the bunkers, the fairways run, and the greens run into the bunkers. Like there's a lot of, you got to hit a lot of really, really good targeted shots and spots.
Understand where you're hitting it, where it's going to land. Yeah,
yep, exactly.
So here's a couple of prime examples. So we have 361 yards on the left, top left here, but down 61, 167 down 35, 518 down 60. It's a good thing it's a fictitious course because you would not be able to walk or potentially use a golf cart here. Right.
You know, it's funny. I thought the same thing. It is very sanctuary-ish in the elevation drops, except sanctuary is a real course. That tells you something.
Right. Yeah. You at least like here, it doesn't matter. I don't even, now that I think about it, I don't even think he had cart paths on here.
I don't think there are cart paths on it. I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I wouldn't if it's fancy course. So they're a pain in the ass to do. I wouldn't do them. But like there, you can see the tee boxers sunken into the thing, you know. But it was okay. It's fine.
It's fine. It's a fictitious course. Maybe if you want to do any improvements on it, you know, we're always improving the courses. Just go out back and flatten the tee boxes a little bit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Really good use of some gradient fog here, you know, to give it like the snow being swept over the mountains here. I just love this shot here. It gives you an idea of it's like a summer at a glacier, you know. I think they can play, you know, I'm playing here, but this is a golf course you only have about 3 weeks of the year that you can play because that's the only time the snow melts back enough that you can see stuff, right?
Yep. I might have tweaked the color of the water a little bit.
I was
but
just gonna say that. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of the turquoise or if I'd want a little bit more blue with a little bit more reflection on it. I don't know. Let us know your thoughts, everybody else. If it was a little distracting to me.
Okay, fair. I really like the texture of the snow on the hills, and it was in certain spots, but not in other spots. And he did a nice job, like even carrying it down to that little hill that's in the water before the bridge. It's some snow. It was really cool. I really like that a lot.
Being that I'm a skier, I really appreciated that this looks like a ski resort in like May. You know, when you can't ski there still, but the stuff has melted enough that you can perhaps do other things. This is what it looked like. I think he did a great job with that.
I also thought, and there was a picture in the first screenshot and then here as well, I think his choice of the wood rail fence was perfect. Like it felt rustic, like the bottom right. I think there's a perfect fence to go with this course.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of screenshots of it, but he also had like a lot of like really cool like bridges, like kind of connecting some of the valleys and the gorges together, which I think was really well done. As you look out, you see here one over the water, but there was another bridge. I don't think I ended up getting a screenshot. It's like up on the side of the mountain connecting two peaks together. It's pretty cool. Be very careful about your hazards. Because you can see one is you have overlapping hazards. So if a ball, and this was something for me that could definitely be in play if I were to hook one left, but if the ball lands in two overlapping hazards, the results are very unpredictable.
Correct.
Not sure what's going to happen. And on top of that, you've got like these almost like double nodes here with things, because so the ball can land in there. Not sure if like I would be annoyed if like my ball landed here and it was considered a hazard, but that's just a little area sticking out. So just check out your hazards and make sure they don't overlap. Just keep them really close if you need to.
And the other thing too, I want to say, not about this, but in general, I did notice this on some courses that I've played both in the SGT rounds the last couple of weeks and in some of these, is guys, you really should. And again, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it as a blanket statement, but I'm going to say it like a blanket statement. You really shouldn't set your water hazards as no as it lies. It should be as it lies.
Yes.
Because if it breaks the water, you will have the option to drop and re-hit. But if you set it as no as it lies, there are several shots on the SGT round this week and in the SGT round last week where my balls landed in the rough and just rolled to the line. The ball did not break the water plane, but because it was on the line, I had to take a drop.
Yeah.
And some of the commissioning, I've heard the excuse, and I've heard it on courses that I've actually played that are now in GS Pro, that people have said, who are making it, saying, oh, well, it's the client told me that there's no way, if the ball ever goes near there, there's no way you're going to see it. Sometimes that's true. Most of the time, you're going to find your ball resting up against the edge of it because you didn't land in it. You rolled down into it.
Right.
So anyway, just be careful about the no as it lies, because you end up forcing extra penalty strokes on folks that you probably don't need to.
Yeah. And as I look at that even further, it looks like he's not even covering all the water with
He's
this.
not covering all the water on that one. So like you could land the ball on the right-hand side over there and still have a shot back in. Yeah.
Right out off the bottom of the pond.
Yep.
All right. And I saw this clubhouse and I was
It's cool.
very impressed. I don't know. I think he maybe found this somewhere. Not sure. I'd love to know. This is a cool clubhouse and it fits this.
Yep.
The one reason I don't think maybe he did do is because it just fits his theme very well, like at this chateau. But cool clubhouse. I really
My
like it.
ask is, if it's shareable, please share this one out. This is a great
Yeah.
clubhouse edition.
Yes, absolutely. So, good job on the course. And then, oh, and I can't forget there is a helicopter. So this is like on hole 9. Now, I didn't see it. Maybe it's on a time, and I just didn't see it. But I didn't see it fly or land. There was another course. Gosh, who did that? There was a course on an island that had a helicopter flying
And it
around,
had a
which is pretty
helicopter
cool.
that would take off and fly around. Who was that? Was that it was either CE Sim or was another R Dyer core? I can't remember who did it, but yep. They had the blades spinning and the helicopter would take off. I can't remember which course it was though.
So this is on 9, the VIP helicopter pad that comes down and people land. So congratulations, Swiss Alpine Valley. This will be fun, something I think if I want to show off the sim or people want some big elevation changes, I'll definitely load this one up.
Yep, great.
All right, congratulations. So let's move on to Old McDonald Had a Farm. Now I feel like we should almost have some like redneck music for this one, right?
Can we just sing E-I-E-I-O? Is it copyrighted? Can we not do Old McDonald Had a Farm and it'll take, will we have takedown notice?
I don't know if they will or not. We'll just say yes, it's not allowed. Or what will probably happen is that we would play that and someone has that particular version of E-I-E-I-O copyrighted or whatever. So
exactly. Yep. Yeah. But listen, coveted course, the Bandon Complex, got to have this course on GS Pro. Glad to see TSquared did it, and he did a fantastic job with it. Go get us off there, and we can look at the description and stuff.
Always a LiDAR issue? Is that why
I believe there was a LiDAR issue because it's one of the newer courses, if I remember. And I'm not an expert on Bandon, but I think this one is one of the newer courses of the Bandon Complex. And I don't know if it was like new LiDAR that came out or what that was, but I think so.
Right.
So, but yeah, let's just go into it. Great course. Most people know about the now. This was unique. This was I did go back to the Bandon website. I've never played Bandon. My guys went in the middle of COVID, and I unfortunately didn't make it that trip. But I don't remember them talking about teeing off from a yacht. I did go to the Bandon website, and I even searched for the Bandon yacht tee box, hitting range,
driving range. Yeah,
it wasn't there, but I loved it. I thought it was freaking awesome, and it was so. I mean, first off, the seas are like 12-foot high seas, and the boat doesn't move, which is probably a good thing. I think the boat should be swaying while you're trying to hit the ball and see how you do.
Well, that was we'll come back to that in a second. The funny thing is, almost, which didn't make my post of the week, is I saw this redneck guy who posted, "Why do you want to go to the driving range?" And then he proceeded to drill a hole through a golf ball, thread some fishing line through it, and then hook it up to his fishing rod. And then he was just hitting the same ball into the water and then reeling it back in.
That's actually brilliant.
It is brilliant, right? So that's what I figured you could
awesome.
do here, right? Just get yourself a fishing pole, hit the water, and
Now, the cool thing about this is I did hit about 700 shots until I actually hit one of those giant buoys out there, and it dings. It's got a big, loud boing.
Ding, ding. ding, ding. Nice. And he
Yeah,
has them
it's pretty
marked, the
cool.
distances marked and everything. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Now I did fly around. Go to the next screenshot real quick. I did fly around. It's just a beached yacht.
Well, that's why I was say, going to your point earlier, it's like you need the boat moving around. I said, well, it can't move around because it's beached.
It's beached, exactly. I flew around. I'm like, what did he do? Did he create the whole? No, I don't. I'm guessing he found this asset and dropped it in there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here's my real disappointment on this, and this is why this almost didn't make an MPOW. Because I searched all over that damn ship and could not find you or I having drinks on the back of the
Right.
yacht.
Yeah.
So
Or Bikini Girl from Kapalua.
exactly, I
You
looked
should have
for
taken. You should
some
have
of
called
that.
me. Let me know. I would have given you Bikini Girl to put on the deck there, and you could.
I
She could
think
have
that would
sat
have
right there.
been. She should have sat right there. We could have a theme like "Where's
Yes.
Bikini Girl."
Yes. Yep.
I love this. This is great. All right, let's go to the course though. I listen for this. I did it because because these courses are so well done. What I did was I grabbed a mix of screenshots from real and from the course to show them, and I really wanted to show the care and effort and time that he put into this course. So beautiful colors, beautiful layout. It does kind of have that gray Oregon cloudy vibe to it.
Yeah.
Although ironically, you'll see something different in a second. I think it was this one. I think it was this one. But yeah, I just like great first hole. And then there are some iconic dead kind of famous trees like in the back. It's actually the T. You hit it near the T on number 3. You can see it on number 1. You see it off there in the distance. He did a really good job of capturing and representing those. Keep going forward. You'll see the T markers are really cool,
Is
kind of
that like a
stumps,
stumpy? Yeah, 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 yeah.
like a cut down stump. Yeah, exactly. And then custom flags. You can see the tree on the flag there, and then he's got the actual logo on there. There's that tree you can see at the end of the fairway, or at the end of number 1. It's actually number 3T, which I captured in a second, and you'll see. So just
I
man, the
bet. I mean, that
colors
tree
look
looks like
great.
it's gonna fall down any day. Hopefully, they're
It does. I
freaking
wonder how
things.
many people try to hit the tree. I'm just gonna aim for it to see if I can knock
Just
it down.
the poor thing. Just put the thing out of its misery already. Let it die.
But go. So here's number 3. There's that tree, as you can see at number 3. But what I did was, I mean, there's sand everywhere. I mean, you abandoned it. It is built into that kind of sandy dune area right by the ocean, with lots of grass, native grass everywhere. You talk about unlevel tee box. It actually is a little bit of an unlevel tee box right there. You can see that marker kind of
Right.
embedded, left marker is embedded in. But I did take a screenshot. So go to the next one. This is the actual shot from the tee. Okay, so and actually it isn't. It's pretty flat in the tee
You
box,
look
but
back here. Yeah. I mean, that looks. Wow. It's pretty cool.
wow, really nice. Even like the dirt, the sand off to the right. You can see he's got it on the right side there, and on the real life, he's got the right side there. And the tree is a pretty damn good representation of the tree right there. So
Yeah.
like it's really well done. You gotta give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah. Well done. Nice job.
Yep. I love the beachy areas. I actually, TSquared, I want to chat with you and see if there's any tricks. I'm working on a redo of Ballyneal, very similar sandy area where
Like mossy stuff on the bottom there. Is that what that is? Like
yeah, and then but
patchy
it's like
moss.
I splined all of these bunkered areas, but I put so many freaking points in Inkscape points in them that it's making Blender throw up all over them because there's just like 7,000 bunker
Right.
trying to make it match the terrain very well. So anyway, I'm curious if there's any tips or tricks on how to do. I think I should check with Tech Bud as well because Whistling Straits has a ton of these kind of
Is Whistling
bunkers.
Straits coming back?
I don't know, but I know he did a bunch of bunkers on it that
Yeah.
he
Oh, I know.
maybe can
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, I thought that it looked so good. It looked great. Here is one of the regular like this is a bunker just off the fairway there. You see the fairway in the rough off to the right there. And really well done. You can see there's a lip on the left-hand side, but there's no lip on the right-hand side. Love the way he did that. The right-hand side kind of all falls into the bunker. I love the color and the texture of the sand as well. It's not some white sand bunker that doesn't match.
Yeah.
It
The depth
matches
here is just
beautifully.
really good. I just love that overhang and
Yep.
It's a good look. It's a
I
good
did
look.
get a close up of the right side as well, and if you go forward, you can see this is the exact same bunker, long 3DG on the blend itself to kind of give that, and it's a little different color too because it's closer to the sand. So like there's no lip, it just rolls. It's great. It rolls right into the bunker from the right side. And then another one that I took, this is, I flew high. Now I made some tweaks, by the way, to the, intentionally to the advanced lighting. I changed the skybox, the clouds to a different cloud. I bloomed up. I mean, sorry, I blued up. I added
You just
the
cleared out the skies. Yeah,
cleared up
you
the
did the
sky a little bit.
different skybox. Yep.
I did also change the saturation down. I did feel like it was a little, for me, a little oversaturated. So I turned the saturation down just a little bit on this screenshot here because I was trying to replicate the exact same spot from here. So this is from their live cam. You can look at the date. The date is the same time I took the screenshot, which was yesterday. And it is pretty darn good. Like it's pretty darn accurate on the representation
Yeah,
of
the
the.
overall look and feel here is pretty spot on.
Yep. So really, really well done on the course there. So I think that's the last screenshot that I have. So
It
congrats
is.
on the job. Good job. Go play this one.
Yeah, so congratulations on the MPOW.
Next up
is congratulations to, man, and I cannot say this thing,
Cordillera.
yeah, Ranch by
Cordillera.
Pakman.
In
Yeah.
Bernie,
Simply
Texas.
80. No, this isn't Pakman. This is Simply 80.
It's Simply
Yeah.
80. Yep.
And this is Bernie, Texas, right?
Bernie, Texas.
So this is a Jack Nicklaus design, so you know you're going to get a solid golf course out of this. And this is definitely one of the things that I loved about this course was I like some people don't like placement golf. I do as a new golfer. I can go out there and I can try to hit the long ball, but that doesn't do me any good at my point in my game because if it's wide open, I'm going to land it out there. I need a little bit more precision golf. So first tee box, good looking vegetations and good looking trees. Nice custom tee markers. Now things were a little stretched over here, so I'm not sure if he knows how to do um,
The UV mapping.
Yeah, the
Yep.
UV mapping inside of Blender or not. So and I see it like this, it's like you were trying to use this like brick stone texture over here. Just do some YouTube searches for YouTube for UV mapping, and you'll be able to do this much better. Not that hard to learn.
Yep.
Flag over here on the custom flag looks really great. Now, this is where I was torn a little bit, which was from a distance, and actually when I was teeing off in the first box, I was like, oh man, those bunkers look really good. They have a lot of depth to them. And what he did is he put this like shadowy perimeter around all the bunkers.
It's a like a texture. It's one of the default textures you can
Yes.
choose that has this really dark edge on it. Yep.
Yes. But up close, I was not a fan of this, honestly.
Yeah.
Now let me show you from a distance, and you say look up here. I like that from a distance because it really shows, I think, allows a lot of depth to the bunker. But I felt like up close, I felt like I wasn't a huge fan of it. So I don't know if it needed to be lightened a little bit. But give and take, to each their own on that. I thought his blends were really good. Okay.
Yep.
Blends were spot on. However, I would have liked to seen a little bit more vert painting, especially out here between like this semi and rough area to make this not so much of it's kind of a hard edge in here, but still the colors I think were really good. Course looked really good.
I am curious about the semi. I've not seen semi used that much before. I've seen it used as a small little edge between fairway and rough.
Now this
And I've
could
seen
be.
it.
Do you think that's semi or is it like rough and this is deep
It
rough?
could be. I guess I can't imagine that's deep rough on the right. That doesn't even look like a deep rough. But
I mean,
I
these
don't
could
know.
both be rough. They're just different textures too.
Could be both
right?
be rough with different textures and different sat shader on it. But it's just an interesting Yeah, it's an interesting layout with the different colors on there. I'm not complaining. It's just interesting. It's
No,
not a
no,
bad thing. I just,
yeah.
yeah.
Now this line on the fairway I tend to like because they tend, but this one maybe just a little bit of vert painting in there. Now this is I was talking about some really fun courses, some really holes in
Yes.
here
Yeah.
between. So this one, which this is always a challenge for me. Water on the left.
Yep.
Par 3 hitting over a lot of water. This hole here was really cool. There's some really nice waterfalling, some really good rock work on there. Now that I think about it, I don't think I had a screenshot, but that was a really nice hole. This one that I'm highlighting right here. Another hole over here. Again, this is coming back the other way. You might recognize the water. A lot of holes where there's water like crossing diagonally, which always makes things really interesting because you have to know exactly not only the distance of your club, but where it's going to land. And you got to make sure that you're hitting, you're confident on your strokes. Couple more holes here.
Yep.
Again, diagonal water going across the hole. And this one, which is water is going all the way down, you never have a chance to get away from it. So really fun hole. This is definitely something I'm going to take a note of and have the guys play this winter because I like a lot of chances for people to score high on holes and get a little bit of damage and get shot down a little bit while we're
Yep.
playing. Because as you know, when the indoor guys come, if you hit it in the water, you have to do a shot. That's the way we play.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go.
And when he did put those water in, I think he did a really good job of not only did the reflections here were perfect, okay? There's just
Yeah.
enough transparency to give it that nice spring, like creaky type feel to it. But then like the grasses on each side of it were really well done. The colors were well done as well. Oops. And I thought I had a shot of that par 3 with the waterfalls on it, but I don't. So you guys are just gonna have to play it
Go play
and
it.
see it for yourself.
Yeah, Simply Me, really, really well done. We were having a debate before and during pre-show as to whether or not this might be your first MPOW. We can't remember. But if it is, congratulations. If not,
Yes,
congratulations. It's a great course.
congratulations, well done. Which brings us to talk about another course of originality and something a lot of
Holy
people are gonna,
crap.
right?
So I thank you for letting me take screenshots on this one. I gotta tell you, first, I'm gonna break my own rule here, okay? Because I have always subscribed to the fact that less is more in golf course design. Less colors or more. Like you've seen those courses where they throw all these colors out there and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
or and less assets and less this. This is the opposite. I couldn't get enough. Like I feel like this was please don't take this the wrong way. I think like he saw this unity pack of like 9,000 Star
yes,
Wars assets and he bought it and he found a way of putting 9,000 assets into here and I wanted more. I wanted 10,000. Like I just
yeah.
wanted more and more because the course just kept surprising. So this is on and I love the fact, by the way, that he calls it Mos Desertly, which is like Mos Eisley is the actual town on Tatooine, but he went Desertly for, I guess, copyright infringement. I don't know why he just didn't
Well,
name it the name of the
I
town, but
are we expecting, we're gonna play
I
the
think so. So hang on, we're gonna save that. We'll play it again because we're gonna play it again in several. So um let me give my hide us real quick so we can see the description there. And I love that you'll never find wretched hive and scum.
I think he could have done a much better job. But as a matter of fact, shoot, I forgot to put it in my oh no, did I?
What?
Oh yes. Oh, okay. So and we didn't cover this in pre-show, but I was disappointed in the description here.
I
So
thought he could have put a lot
I
more
went
description in
I
this
went to
one.
Chat GPT
Oh, you had it right up.
and I had it right up, and
Okay.
this is what I think you should change it to. And feel free to use this. Tatooine's premier and only desert oasis golf course. Nestled
Oh.
between the twin suns and endless seas of sands, this 18-hole golf course offers player a truly otherworldly challenge. Bring your sunblock like all of it. And
Love
prepare for a round that'll have you dodging Jawas, moisture farmers, and the occasional rampaging bantha. There you go.
Love it, because all of that's in this course, so,
Yes. Yes.
love it. Now listen, I will tell you, this is a fictional course, obviously, last time I checked, the lidar is not very good on Tatooine,
No.
um, so listen, from a golf perspective, I played this one in the sim 3 times actually, because I enjoyed it so much and had so much fun playing, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan anyway. But from a golf perspective, it is a very frustrating course to play because you're either on grass or you're in sand. Like, and half the time you land in the grass and you end up in sand, and
Right.
half the time you land in the sand and you don't roll in the grass. And so,
Right.
like, I mean,
Right.
and there's some landing area, dude. There's some landing areas that are like as wide as like this room that I'm in, and there's some there's some. I think there's like a 680-yard par four.
So this
Like,
goes to our mention earlier. It's like sometimes we go for the originality of a course versus its play, its layout, right?
playability. And this one was fun to play, but also it was stupid to play. There was a couple of times
Yeah.
I was like, really? I had a good drive and I'm still 300 yards, 350 yards away on a par
Right.
four.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's just jump into it. Let's just at
All right.
6,700. Here's the driving range. First off, again, these are asset and these are moving, by the way. These are not just all standing still on here. They're not static. The AT-AT is moving around. The walker back there is moving around. Like they're doing all the things. I also want to give attention detail. It's a little hard to tell in my screenshot, but the white block out there are the yardage markers, 50, 100, 150. He used the exact same font as they do in the Star Wars universe. So like that match. So here we go. Start queuing up the takedown notice because it's coming, because I don't know how it's not going to come as we go through. But it was really fun. Next screenshot. And so here we are. There is so much to see here, and I grabbed a lot. I wish I could just run but you've got the Rebel logo T markers, which we'll get a close up of. You got Moisture Farmers. You got Los Eisley in the background there. You've got the Jabba the Hutt compound off in the back right. And then next screenshot, there's a close up of that. Keep going. One
So what's
more.
that symbol though there? What is that?
That's the Rebel. I think that's if I remember correctly, that's the Rebel kind of Rebel
Okay.
Alliance symbol.
I
That's
thought
their
it looked like
logo.
whatever, like, you know how R2D2 always interfaces with stuff. It kind of looked like that
Yeah,
interface,
kind of
but
like
that
that
that's
that
very
input.
obscure. But yeah, yeah,
If I remember correctly, and like in the original Star Wars, that logo is on the side of their
yeah. You're
X-wings, on
right.
the side of
Yeah,
their
you're right.
helmets.
Right. Right.
And then you've got a TIE fighter and an X-wing chasing each
There.
other with
There.
all the sounds of the TIE going overhead. It's nonstop scrolling. You've got the Imperial Sandcrawler crawling through. We'll get a close up of that later. And
Yeah.
then one more screenshot real quick. On number 1 tee, I'm about ready to hit, and BB-8 goes cruising right past the tee, right
That's
to where
great.
I'm gonna go hit. I had to fly out and chase for these screenshots because these are all moving. I literally spent forever like flying out and chasing around and trying to control Alt S and get the screen share app to grab it, and there's dust clouds going around BB-8 as he goes out there. It's just really well done. And then this is hole number one, the second shot. You got your Imperial Star Destroyer just hovering right above the whole course over there. I flew up to it. It's really the texture on it is amazing. It looks so accurate. But again, here's an example of the ball landing and just rolling, and now I'm in a sand shot. So it's only 57 yards, but there was a lot of. If you don't like bunkers, don't play this course because there's a lot of sand. Every
Now I
shot
would
you have.
assume. I'm curious, and I don't know. Like when you go to like the asset, like, did you look at for any of these assets in the stores or anything?
I didn't try to go in and say, but here was my question. My question is, if these assets were available in
Yes.
the
You,
Unity
you
store,
you're gonna add yes.
and so they're obviously copyright right protected because you bought them through the Unity store, are you okay using them in your package?
Well, I guess the question is, what do they say Star Wars Destroyer in there, or do they just say spaceship?
I
Because
don't know.
I don't think you can like they're not gonna be able to be able to stop you from posting a spaceship that happens to
But these are
look like
so accurate.
right. Oh, I
Like,
agree. I agree.
but if he bought, my other question was, if he bought, let's say it's a package of Unity assets from the Unity store that are properly copyrighted, does that copyright include the
But
ability
I
to use
don't
them in
think
your own?
those are actually properly. I don't think they could
I
be.
don't know.
I don't think they're properly
I don't know how
copyrighted.
that works. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but let's go. So, like, again, there is Jabba the Hutt's compound on
Yeah.
Tatooine, so it's accurate. And I really did like, to be fair, a couple of things I would love to have seen, and we'll talk a little, one here and one in another screenshot. I did like the really green lush, the contrast of the green lush grass of the fairway and the rough from the sandy desert area. Like, it really popped and stood out. I would have loved to have seen some more wind or sand effects, particle sand effects.
Yes, that's what I was like going to say is like, so they get this like hard line here, which is fine, but like once in a while, like vert paint, make it look like there's like a bunch of sand being blown
Sand
out into
coming
one
across
section.
onto that, yeah, and I got a close-up of some of the blending work, which I'd love to see some of that, but I'd love to see some of the sand blowing down onto it, and then just particle flex sand kind of in the background going to say, like, yeah, there's a dust devil over here. So that would have been a really, really nice touch
Yeah.
on that. I love the moisture farming
Yes.
apparatus in there. And then this is, I mean, I mean, who, I can't remember what the name of the, I forgot what it is, but the sand creature that they were
That,
gonna
that
uh,
throw
pop
Luke
Luke
in.
into, and he
Yeah.
drops in, and he used
And
the
then when
force to
they're
come out with.
the one thing I remember from that scene was that all the stormtroopers are getting thrown down there and that burps. Remember?
It burps, yeah, exactly. But if you look closely to the left, you've got Jabba the Hutt sitting right up there. And by the way, the music changes when you go over to the green on here. Then you have the Cantina music from playing.
Nice.
It's a really,
Brilliant.
really nice touch. I am a little, there it is, close up of Jabba the Hutt. I am a little disappointed. Once again, I went to the other one. I didn't see Masta and I or Bikini Girl sitting anywhere on that rig, so that would have been great to see. Here's a Star Wars question for you. The
Okay.
little guy sitting next to
Uh,
you, do you remember his name?
no, and I don't. And the thing is,
Points.
I've been, what is it?
I'm giving points to anybody who can
Oh,
remember his
points.
name.
Yeah, I don't. And the funny thing is, I've been watching recently, the Clone Wars, and like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things are in like a bunch of episodes, of the Clone Wars too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So his name, just for everybody, in case I don't know, is Salacious Crumb. That is the name of the character, Salacious Crumb. He's the one he's attached to Jabba, and he's always laughing,
Yes.
and yeah, yep,
I was gonna
yep.
say he's on the leash. No, it was Leia that was on the leash.
Leia was on a
It was on the
leash,
chain
correct?
leash.
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
yes,
in the bikini.
yes,
And then
yes.
there's so much to see here. I mean, there's the Millennium Falcon, of course, the iconic. It's landing on top of the hill. I didn't get a close up of it because I want you all to go play and fly over and see it, but it's there. It's landing on top of the hill. The Fallen Walker off to the left with a
Mm-hmm.
collider on it. I
The
actually hit balls
ruins.
into it and it bounced
Yep.
off. You've got the city of Los Angeles over to the right there in the sand. There's just so much to see here. There's banthas on with Tusken Raiders walk. And I didn't get a screenshot of it. There's the land speeder
Mm.
that the Luke used is flying around on a different hole as well. Like, this was my point of more is better. Every single hole, don't just hit the ball. You need to sit and wait for about 30 seconds before each shot and see what pops up in front of you, because something is changing in front of you on every single hole. It's awesome. Okay, here's where I was going to talk about what you had mentioned as well. Again, would love to have seen some vert painting of sand on that line to kind of give that area of the sand is always encroaching on the green.
Yes.
It's really a hard thing to keep it there versus the really hard line there, but pretty minor. But overall, that would have been a nice, really like high end touch to
Just
it.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Taking it to the next level.
And then again, here's the sand crawler, the Jawa sand crawler, like cruising through the rough. I literally hit my drive down over here to the left, and the sand crawler like rolled over top of my ball. It was awesome. And there's Jawas behind it, following behind. It's so good. And then on 18,
R2D2
you
out there.
see my ball right there, and there's R2D2 crawling around the green on 18, just like doing what he does with the sound. Is that
I
throw a
can't believe he
custom
didn't do like custom flags and T
throw a
markers. Like
custom
there's a
flag on
missed
there.
opportunity, like a little R2D2 for T markers, or you could have a different character for every T marker, right?
I mean, you've got a rebel T marker, put an Imperial flag,
Right.
something.
Right.
Make the flagpole look like a lightsaber.
Yes.
Something like I would love. Like, don't just stick the G. I mean, come on, like that. You've got so much cool detail on this course. That's my only real complaint were the GS Pro standard flags on here. So, but overall, it is one of the most fun both golf and entertainment courses I've played in a long time.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, really well done.
All right, so that brings us up to, I think this is our last one? How many have we
No,
gone
we
through
got
now?
one more
Oh,
after this.
geez,
No,
my gosh. Dinosaur Mountain
no.
by Pakman.
Pakman. We
Now you
have
would
not. Do we have
think,
walk-on music for Pakman?
actually, I think do
I thought we had
we?
walk-on music for Pakman.
I don't know what it would have been though. Maybe we don't.
Okay,
I know
well, Steve,
we have it for our dire. We got it for Run Pud Run.
we need walk-on
Uh,
music for Pakman. He
yeah, we got
deserves
to figure out
walk-on.
what that
Steve,
is.
get your
Yeah,
shit together and get walk-on
right?
music for Pakman.
Ugh. So Dinosaur Mountain out there in Arizona, Gold Canyon, and I was looking to see why they call this Dinosaur Mountain. I think it's just there is a ridge of rocks that goes around it. I don't know if they found fossils out there or whatever, but this is a really cool, really well done desert course. And looking at the first tee box, it's dry. We got cactus out there. We got some bushes. We got some Joshua trees going on. Here we got
Go
some.
back real quick.
Go
Go back
back.
real quick. I just want to say one thing too. There are sometimes, it doesn't happen often for me. I don't know if it happens to you or not, but sometimes for me, I will load up a course for the first time on the first tee and go, holy shit, this is spectacular.
This
And
was
that
one.
was what I felt on this one. When I
Yeah.
first saw this one, I was like, holy crap, this looks like I'm there. It looked so good that it blew me away on the very first impression of it. And so
Yes.
I just
As
wanted
a
to
matter
call
of
that out.
fact, I think when I opened this up, I just put MPOW in my notes. Look more later. I
Look
did.
more later.
I
It was
think I looked at this. I was like, oh, this is freaking amazing. I'm just gonna go look at the next course, and I'm gonna come back and play this so I can enjoy it a little bit more.
if I had any critique at all, and only because I've seen them and use them, I would have loved to seen the T markers switched out to something
Yeah.
unique to the course. But it's a minor critique. This first screenshot sold me on the whole course.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So he did what I also liked here, like these are really well done, like dirt cart paths. I thought they looked real. Sometimes like people try to do dirt cart paths and I just don't get the blending right. I think these looked really well. He did a really good job with the vert painting. The transition from that like desert side to the, actually irrigated side, I think was really well done. Colors are really well done. And of course with Pac-Man you get great vegetation. Okay, so everywhere here, he had like these sprouty things. And I don't know if he did these by hand or if or he did a prefab here where he had like this
I don't
sprouty
know. It's
light dead
cool.
stuff coming up with like the things flowering off the bottom of it. Same thing like these bushes that had like dry stuff underneath it. I, I don't know if he found a magical way to do this with VS Pro. Not sure, but either way, it looks amazing. So great job there. Um, the layout of this course is really interesting, and I think may have presented some challenges. That it's like a big giant L. So you essentially go out, you take a right hand turn, and then you go out again, and then you come back on that L. This is just like one. I think you start all the way down here, you play all the way through, then you come out here to the left on this screenshot, but the terrain on this thing, I would think, was gigantic. So that can kind of play like when you talk about resolution of your terrain, it can be kind of challenging. But he did a really good job. I like this. I'm assuming this is Dinosaur Mountain over here. Lots of
nice.
trees
Yeah.
littered throughout the
Looks like a
course as
dinosaur.
well.
You see that
It,
you see the
yeah,
head of the dinosaur to the left, and then his back, and then
yes.
it goes to the tail. It kind of looks like a
Yeah,
dinosaur.
maybe that's why they call it Dinosaur Mountain, right? So here's a closer
There you
shot
go.
of Dinosaur Mountain. So he's got the mountain's really done well with the prefabs. It's obviously, he just didn't say leave this to terrain and
Yeah.
terrain like satellite imaging as well. He did a good job on that. Rocks kind of littered throughout the side there. Looks really good. The shadows get a lot of depth. He did a really good job of also positioning the sun on the course, so it gave a lot of depth. And there were some really good houses and a lot of 3D assets placed around it as well. This was one particular golf shot that I thought, was really cool. Not cool for me in real life, but I mean, this was a par four, downhill, fairly decent, but like, man, houses on the right, houses on the left. And if you look at the overhead shot here, things are a little tight out there. Now, I
Yeah.
will say, after looking at this, I'm like, he has no inner OB over here. So if I do hit any of those houses, I'm all right. I'm just going to hit it
You are
again
free to go walk in their backyards and hit it off
yes,
their. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
whack
So
those again. So
may
yeah,
need to might need to update that one, Pakman.
yeah, I might need to put an inner OB on those houses. Although someone like me, I'm not complaining. All right. So congratulations, Pac-Man. Great course, Dinosaur Mountain. Love it, love
Yep,
it, love it, love it, love it.
love it, love it.
Okay,
Good job.
so
One more, and it goes to TSquared's second one. The follow-up to Old McDonald Had a Farm is
yes,
Sheep Ranch. Now, another one of the abandoned courses. It looks fantastic. I did not grab as many screenshots because the look and feel of the two, they're right next to each other. And
yep.
the look and feel of the two are very similar. I mean, he probably did the same set of LiDAR and just used all this, same Unity everything and same grasses and everything, but there are some differences I wanted to call out. So most of the screenshots we have are around the differences, and a suggestion too, by the way. So let's go.
Boom.
And if you are doing sheep ranch, what do? You put magic
You
sheep
put
on
sheep.
the. Why are they magic sheep?
They are magic sheep because they're hovering.
They are hovering a little bit off the ground there. I love on the one right up front, that black sheep on the
This
front. You
guy.
can literally see underneath his feet, like completely
Baba
under.
Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, for I'm floating over the driving range. Yeah,
And I also like is that a GC? Well, we were talking in pre-show. Is that a GC quad down there? Is that like a launch
I
monitor?
think it is. I thought
I think
someone
it
else
is.
had something similar to that in a course, and maybe they shared it a while ago. I thought.
Maybe. I think that's pretty cool though. Anyway,
Yeah.
fun driving range.
I also like. Is that a sheep all the way out there on top of like a house or a hay bale or something? Do you see that way out there?
I think
I
that's
just
just the
noticed that.
house. I don't think there's a sheep on. Oh, it might be. It looks like there's a sheep on the house. Now that I see it, I can't unsee it.
Right, 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 right.
um, I will say I did go to the website, and I didn't see sheep on the driving range. I think there
Who would
used
have
to be
thunk?
sheep there.
Yeah.
This course is closer. A lot of the holes are closer to the ocean than Old McDonald. You got a lot more holes that go out towards the cliffside and greens and tees that are on there. Because of that, I think you end up with a lot more kind of dead trees, and there are some more like iconic dead trees that are out there. But first screenshot uphill, going out towards the ocean, you kind of get that feel. You can't see anything all over the top of the hill, which is a really cool feeling. And if we just keep going through the screenshots, custom tees that were unique and different. This is the green on number one, and there is an iconic tree back there again, right by the green.
Why are
He did.
all the iconic trees dead? That's
Yeah,
kind of sad.
it's Oregon. They're dead. It's the salt and the spray off the
Uh,
ocean. They're gonna have a time at some point when all these iconic trees fall down.
yeah, right.
Um, Custom flags, custom tee markers, and they're different. Like he spent the time to not just use obviously Old McDonald tees on
Right,
go forward one
right.
more. I think I've got a tee marker there, but even the model is different. He just didn't use the same model and just change the logo. It's a
Yeah.
different looking tee as well. Similar cut of wood, but not the stumpy looking.
Oh, and I just noticed that the thing is
It's a sheep
what's like,
hook.
yes, is that what they
Yeah,
call it? A sheep hook? They call it a sheep,
I always thought it was like a sheep hook.
the shepherd's
I'm
staff or whatever it's called.
my shepherding days are long behind me,
Ah,
young
yes.
Padawan.
From your days of shepherding sheep on Tatooine.
are
Or
to
way
the most
behind you.
behind me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is 6, and I love this one. I flew out and took a screenshot looking a little bit back. The tee shot is actually the out of bounds. You can see on the mini map you're hitting out
Yeah.
of bounds. It goes off to the right, and you can cut the corner and hit out of bounds, and and then back in if you can play a nice draw. But I took this for a couple of reasons. One, you can really see the nice blending of the colors like we saw in Old McDonald. And this is closer to the ocean, so you can see that view. I did have a suggestion, though. I really wish that go back real quick, one sec.
Yep.
Some of the shrubbery around the tee and along the edge were not there and it was more shorter grasses. Because I went and got an actual screenshot. Go back. You go forward now. This is that same tee. Okay. Hitting it forward, kind of a more forward on view. And you can see, like, you should feel like you're on the tee and hanging over the edge there. So I felt like the trees that you did plant were blocking
The
the
bushes
view
there.
of the ocean. The bushes there were blocking the view of the ocean. So I was just a suggestion is take them out, put some grasses in there. You've got some fantastic grasses, and make the golfer feel like you are literally on the edge of the cliff hitting, which is exactly what they're going for.
And then
So
speaking of
just
those good
suggestion.
grasses, right?
Speaking of those good grasses, I mean, look at that. I don't know what else to say. The colors, the height, the choice of grasses, it's just really, really well done. There's a green up there you can't really see, and this is going up to the green there. So I thought it was just as close to perfect as I've seen.
Yeah, I think this goes to show that it's okay to have a saturated grass. Like he's got this one blade
Yep.
in here that's a
Yep.
little saturated, but it complements the other stuff which isn't as saturated and it's a little dried out. Looks really well. Looks really
Exactly.
good.
Yep.
Yep, works
Yep.
well. All right, so congratulations on the MPOW there. Uh, let's go to Amherst Country Club in New Hampshire by SqTail. So
SqTail.
congratulations, SqTail. Yeah,
Congratulations.
on an MPOW there, buddy. Well done. So not a terribly long course, but I felt like there was just a ton of vegetation, and I felt like this was encroaching on me, which isn't. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just always felt like this course was always encroaching on me, which is
Yep.
fine. That's probably how
Yep.
it plays in real life. One thing I really liked, there were a lot of over the top like water shots in this. I think he did a really good job of blending some interesting colors around this water. So he got some like it's not quite burgundy in here, but some kind of
Yeah.
lighter stuff in here. You
Yep.
got some bushes, some
Yep.
rocks around the water, some good reflection clubs. Interesting color as well, kind of this grayish, which I think recently has been something a lot of people are starting to use, like a gray watercolor, more like an ocean kind of color water. Here's another great shot over water as well, where you see the same colors he's working. This is par 3. Course was really fun as well. I love the layout of the course. Um, One critique I do have on here, if I had one, is just take a look at your billboards. There were 1 or 2 trees in here where they were just almost black. So I did notice on some flyovers and some of the images where I'm looking further down the course, there were 1 or 2 trees that look like they just need to be lightened up a little bit and not so dark. Okay. But I just like there's a stream that went all the way through the course, which made for some really interesting, fun holes as well. Uh, I love what he did. So if you guys aren't familiar, like if you don't have a good sat shader, you can do some random like vertex
Yep.
painting inside of Blender and do some vertex painting as a little bit more procedural. I think he did I like what he did here. First of all, from just the amount of this, I'm going to say burgundy or like purplish, but it's not like the real color, but that's kind of like what he was leaning towards. And it looks really good. Um, and I think the amount of it he did was really good, and I like the color of it. However, when you came in close, the 3DG didn't quite match it. And he even put like
Yeah.
mow lines
Mow
on the
lines in the
3DG.
3DG. Yeah.
So when you zooming in, like out here, I think he was going for a little bit more dry, burnt look, which looks to me it looks really good. I think he did a great job. just I would try to like either get the like lighten up to make the 3DG, and if you use like a tri blend, the 3DG tri blend, and make one of those blends in there like more of like a brown, I think you would have matched that a little bit closer. Still looks really good. Okay, it still looks really good, and I was really kind of thrilled with it. Really liked the course, obviously because we gave it an MPOW.
Yep.
And overall, nice job.
Nice job.
So congratulations on the MPOW SqTail. So that brings us to the
Post
of the week. Okay. So I think you did not end up getting any post of the week this week, did you? Is this all coming down to me?
All the ones I found were pretty lame. There were a couple in there that we discussed, but decided that we'll leave off this week. Maybe we'll talk about them at a later time. But yeah, they're all yours. So you go to town.
All right. So yeah, let's jump into it. So first one. So I joined this other kind of pseudo golf group this week, which is a bunch of goofballs. Funny stuff, but goofballs. This guy's asking, hey guys, any tips on nice places to play in Florida? I'm going to be there mid-November. I'm not sure if any of you know how big Florida is.
Pretty big state.
Yes, so all the comments were like, dude, where in Florida? Because I think if you were to drive from the top end of Florida down, it's like an 8-hour hike.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8 hours, probably top to bottom of Florida. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you're looking for golf tips, people, let us know what you're gonna be.
Oh, he's calling himself a European pheasant. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes. The whole group, they put PH in front of everything. Like, yeah, it's kind of a. Are you in this group, Mashie?
I'm not, no.
You should join. It's called Dude, Where's My Par? And it is basically, the whole thing is people post and they just bash each other. That's all they do is make fun of each other.
Okay.
I go there for the comments. So, you're supposed to, when you join the group, you're supposed to post a video of your swing and then people just rip you apart. It's hilarious. Anyway, very
That's
un-PC.
high on my list to join. Yeah,
Yes.
Let me get right on that.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sorry, I had to remind what this one was. So this guy was asking, he wanted to buy an OptiShot. This person selling an OptiShot with an Epson projector for $2,500. So, needless to say, everyone was saying, dude, do not touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Don't touch it. Why was he? Wow.
Yeah. So, do you even consider an OptiShot a home golf simulator? It's like a video game, right?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah, I wouldn't even think about it. I don't know anything. I've never used one, so I can't comment. Sorry, I had to sneeze. No. All I know is that if he sells it for $2,500, somebody got ripped off.
Yes. And an OptiShot maybe is $300, so you're talking about a $2,200 Epson projector.
Unless this is a really high-end projector, yeah.
for an OptiShot.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this poor guy. So the guy has a SkyTrack, bought the subscription plan thinking that's how he enables GS Pro, and then went to Foresight and bought.
I saw that. I see this. And then By the way, this is not maybe it's the same guy in a different group. I did see one yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, I bought my subscription GS Pro through Foresight. Why do I have to wait 2 or 3 days before I can get to play GS Pro?" That in itself sucks, if that's the truth.
Yeah.
But
I do know that does happen for sure, because they verify
they validate the license and stuff.
And you think they would automate that soon.
If you're a SkyTrack player and you ended up with a Foresight, there's a disconnect there.
Yes. And I didn't end up posting. There was another guy in a group who all he did was, hey, I want to buy a launch monitor. Here's what I'm thinking. Whatever you guys vote for, that's what I'm buying. And he ended up buying a SkyTrack, and I'm just thinking to myself, dude, you gotta do a little bit more research on this stuff, dude. Do not. It's just if you vote, SkyTrack is going to be what everyone votes for because that's what most people have, right?
Yeah. It's cheap.
So yeah, it's cheap and it's most popular.
Good entry level monitor to get in with, and works pretty well. And yep.
This guy's like, thanks for your votes, everybody. I'm getting a SkyTrack. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
This next one I think is my last one, and is definitely the best one. And I think it was in the same group that I just joined, which was, check out this guy's setup.
What is that?
I think it looks like a tent. Doesn't it? Looks like he
I
took
think
a,
it's a tent. I think he's using a nylon tent as his
or
hitting.
or one of those like beach like
Yeah, kind of like
shelters.
shelter, kind of keep you.
But what's great about it is that this was a video, and I wish I could have posted a video of, and he's hitting into this thing, and it just looks like, and dude, it's in that site, dude, where's my par? And the comments, I should have brought some of the comments.
Yeah,
Like they have
next
pictures of
time
what
bring
they,
comments. The comments
yeah, there are
are.
pictures of like what they think this guy's wife looks like. One guy, I think the best comment was, I think you have my catalytic converter in there somewhere.
I love I listen, I want to give the dude props because I love the creativity. I see we see some, not everybody can go and build their own personal golf sim, high end, and inside. I love the fact that there's such a passion for this game and for the sport that
He's
people
just,
will go out there and hit off a dirt patch.
he's not, what is
Like,
he standing on? Like his
I don't
sidewalk?
know, but like, you imagine the tennis or the golf elbow you're gonna get from hitting off that, like,
I don't
I
know if
don't
it's
know, like,
dirt or what. And then
I don't know, but
and the wheelbarrow to the right, which is just asking for a ball coming back into your face.
mine's good. My son and I watched a movie last night, and so in my simulator, the screen retracts, and behind it's in a room that we built
A
as a
good,
for a
yeah, a
theater.
good flat
It
screen.
has a
Yeah.
good movie screen, right? And so we retracted it for the first time in forever because we haven't watched a movie in forever. And then, like, in the small 1.5 spot to the right, there's these dings in the wall where, like, my son apparently,
Ah,
like, the ball made it between, and I've got a
yeah.
5-foot wall, right? I've got a 5-foot screen that comes out, and apparently, like, there's like these little, so that wheelbarrow is asking to get hit, you know?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oy.
Okay, so
Oy.
let's close
All
this one
right.
out because I know that you
I have a game to go to.
you have a game to go to, right?
I just called the Uber, and we're gonna run down there via Uber, and we'll figure our way home later. So,
All right. Okay.
great
We'll
day,
talk-
everybody. We're
we'll
gonna
talk
try to
about
record
Kiowa.
next week, and
Yeah,
then
we'll
we're gonna
try.
have some specials at Kiowa.
Yes. Sounds
Yep.
good. All right.
All right.
See you, everybody.
See you, everybody.